most important things that we need to do as moms is learn how to listen to our gut. And this is one of the most difficult things to do in general, but especially after going through an abusive relationship, because you don't even know what reality is, let alone what your actual insides are saying. When you're in the abusive relationship, you get caught up in this place of being gaslit to the point that you can hardly see straight. You get told that the sky is purple, and then you are convinced that it's definitely not blue, even though you see it, and you learn that you can't even trust your own eyes. You have a gut feeling that it's wrong that someone is yelling at you and calling you names and being mean and disrespectful, and yet you were told that that's love. That's what you saw growing up. That's what you've experienced in this relationship. That's what you believe you deserve. And so you've disconnected yourself away from the gut feeling inside. This is why it is so important for us to reconnect to that gut instinct and learn to listen to our gut. And the abusive relationship stuff aside, it is even harder when you're a mom because you're always wondering if you're doing the right thing, if you're doing the wrong thing, if you're doing too much, if you're doing too little. You know, Susie Q over here says you need to do more, but Sally, apparently we're talking a bunch of S names, Sally over here says that you're being a helicopter mom and you need to back off. And then you saw a post on Facebook about somebody talking crap about the way you parent your kids. Not like you specifically, but like just the way you approach the situation. And so you're like, all right, is this bad? Is this wrong? I don't really even know what I'm doing. When you tie that in with the trauma affected brain that you have, it feels pretty damn impossible. But there are repercussions when you don't trust your gut. When you don't trust your gut, you don't trust yourself to show up as a leader for your kids. And that sounds dramatic, but it is very true. If we do not trust ourselves, if we don't know how to listen to that gut instinct, we will not react when we sense something is going on with our kids. We will not react properly when we realize that our kids need us, but we don't know if we should do this or that. We would rather do nothing than maybe possibly screw it up, which can lead to bad outcomes down the road. Not trusting yourself puts a rift between you and your kids, because if you can't trust yourself as a leader, your kids can't trust you as a leader, and if there's no leader, there is chaos. And children need leadership. Children need their mom to be the leader. Yes, you're a nurturing leader, and yes, you connect with them, and yes, you are there for them, but you have to show up in that leader role in order for them to feel safe. It is incredibly important that you take the time to reconnect to your gut instinct, to reconnect to what your gut is saying to you. Now, this, of course, is easier said than done, and this takes a lot more time than we realize or than we want it to. Learning to reconnect to your gut instinct, especially after experiencing trauma, especially when trying to heal your relationship with your kids, is something that needs to be a priority in your life. And this is done over time. And if you were to completely disregard this episode and you apply every other principle that I've talked about in my last 200 podcast episodes, you will over time definitely learn how to trust your gut and build that connection again. But is that time that you want to waste? What's going to happen in that time frame between you being here and you needing to be over here? The sooner you learn how to master this, the better. Before we dive in to the actual how of doing this, I want to acknowledge that learning to trust yourself is really scary. Because on one hand, you're like, man, I got myself in an abusive relationship. And if I'm truly trustworthy, I shouldn't have done that. Can I trust myself to make good decisions? I trusted myself to do it then. It impacted me and it impacted my kids because now they have an abusive father, or now they have, an abusive partner, or now they have these things because of what I went through. But then it's also like, man, all right, if I learn to trust myself again, what if I trust myself to make a decision and then that decision is wrong? And if that decision is wrong, then I really can't be trusted, and that's just proof that I can't be trusted. But here is a truth that not enough people talk about. When you learn to listen to your gut, that doesn't mean you're always going to get it right, and it doesn't mean that it's going to be perfect and smooth sailing. Instead, what it means is that you are learning to also trust your gut to get you to take action, whatever that action is, whether it's to start or stop, or call someone out or stay silent, whatever that is. You also need to learn to trust yourself if and when inevitably you do make a wrong decision. You need to trust yourself to say, man, I screwed up. I trust myself to figure it out. I trust myself to make this work. I trust myself to do what it is that I need to do in order to fix it, in order to make things work. So I'm not saying any of this with the naive belief that it's easy, or that it's simple, or that it's easily implementable, or that it'll only take 10 days if you do these exercises. No, this stuff does take time, but it is really important and certainly needs to be a priority. So how do you even go about that? There are several different things you can do and that you should do. There's the mind piece of it, and there's the body piece of it. Because your gut is an internal physical feeling that your body reacts to and sends to your brain. But you also have to be in the right mindset to hear it when that voice starts speaking. So the first thing I want you to do is go and grab a journal and sit down and ask yourself, when has your gut been right? When has something happened and you had this feeling that it was right, but you didn't say anything? Or you said something and it turned out that you were correct. When has that happened? Write that down. And then the second thing I want you to do is and maybe this scenario already exists in what you've written down. When have you regretted not listening to your gut? When have those moments come up where you're like, man, I knew it. I knew that was wrong. I knew I should have said this. I knew I should have done that, but I didn't. Think about those times and what the outcome of that was. But this is not an opportunity for you to beat up on yourself. This is an opportunity to take personal responsibility without beating up on yourself. You can't change the past. And plus, if beating yourself up worked, you would be your complete version of success right now. If constantly crapping on yourself worked, because you are the queen of beating yourself up. You are the queen of getting it wrong. You are the queen of telling yourself how terrible you are, how much of a bad mom you are, about how you deserved everything that happened to you. You are the queen of that. And so if it worked, you'd be there already. So beating yourself up doesn't work, or else you wouldn't be watching this right now. You wouldn't be listening to this right now. So I want you to look over this with a sense of objectivity, where I just want you to make an observation. Don't decide that it makes you better or worse. Don't decide that it makes you a bad mom or a good mom. Just let yourself be objective about it and say, this is what happened. This is what happened when I didn't listen to my gut. This is what happened when I did listen to my gut. List those things out. Another thing that would be really beneficial for anyone who is learning how to trust their gut is to learn to get in tune with their body. I'm not talking about the hippie woo-woo stuff. I'm just talking about being physically aware of where you are. Because we live in a society that is so crazy fast-paced, that is so crazy disconnected from our mental health, that we don't even recognize when we're hungry, when we're thirsty, when we have to go to the bathroom, when we need to ask for support, when we need to ask to be left alone. We don't know those things because we are not in tune with our body. So this is your opportunity to change that. So over the next few weeks, begin to notice your body's cues. When you realize you're hungry, try to pinpoint the moment where you began to actually feel hungry. Because I don't know about you, but by the time I'm hungry, I'm hungry. Like I need to eat now. And if I don't eat now, I'm gonna pass out because I needed food 2 hours ago, but I didn't realize it. So it's really important for me to begin to listen to my body and pay attention so I know when I need to eat. This seems trivial, but your intuition, listening to your gut, lives inside of your body. And so if you avoid connecting with your body, if you don't do the work to begin to listen to what's going on inside of you, you will not be able to trust yourself because you don't trust your own body. And therefore, you and your body are on two different playing fields, playing two completely different games, and you're not even communicating. You're both failing, but you're not communicating, and so nothing is changing. So one way to do this is, like I said, walk around and begin to pay attention to cues. When do you first feel tired? When do you first feel thirsty? When do you first feel frustrated? When do you first feel those things? And keep track of this. Literally keep a journal and write this down. The more you write it down and the more you notice, the easier it's going to be for your brain to comprehend this new information. The second thing that I would recommend for you to do is to begin taking time, and when I say time, I mean 2 or 3 minutes a couple of times a day, that's it, to focus on your breathing. You're not on your phone. You're not watching TV. Your kids are not around you. This is just you after they go to bed or before they wake up or while they're at school, whatever that is, and I want you to take 2 to 3 minutes and just focus on your breathing. I want you to sit in your chair and plant your feet on the ground, preferably barefoot. Or if you're like me and you like socks, you can wear socks. I hate being barefoot. I'm barefoot right now, but I hate it. And feel your feet grip into the ground. What does that feel like? Pay attention to those sensations. Feel your feet touching the ground. Feel your feet move with your legs. Feel your knees. Feel the sensation of clothes on your body. Feel the world around you. Is there humming from the air conditioner? Are you noticing a slight light flicker from fluorescent lights? Like, pay attention to those things. And then once it comes time to sit down and focus on your breathing, you are very present and you are able to focus. And once you reach that point, I want you to sit back in your chair, not lean back, but like sit tall. So shoulders back, chest up. And when I say breathing, I'm talking about belly breaths. I am not talking about chest breaths. So you should be able to feel your belly expand and contract. Chest breaths increase anxiety, so we don't want that. I want you to focus on big, deep belly breaths. And I want you to breathe in through your nose for the count of 4. Hold for the count of 4. Breathe out for the count of 4. And then hold for 4 before you continue the process. This is called square breathing because on one line you breathe in, one line you hold, one line you breathe out, one line you hold. And that is very powerful, but using it in this way of just this continued present breathing, it forces you to kind of let go of anything else except for your internal bodily sensations. And then just continue this process for 2 to 3 minutes a few times a day. What this is going to do is this is going to center you literally with your body. Because when you're sitting there with your eyes closed, you can't do anything else but focus on your breathing. And you are inevitably going to get distracted. You're going to be thinking about what you need to make for dinner. You're going to be thinking about that time you snapped at your kid before they left for school. You're going to think about how you need to put the clothes from the washer into the dryer. Just consistently bring back to your breathing. Focus on your breathing. When you are focused on counting to 4 while breathing in, holding, breathing out, holding, it forces you to stay present and in the moment. The more you do it, the easier it's going to get. And this is such a powerful way to bring connection back into your body. And when you do this, you are going to be able to pay attention to when there's a twinge in your gut, or you feel your chest start to tighten. You feel like maybe subconsciously there's some energy about a person, there's something that they said that maybe you didn't like, there's somebody who's crossing a boundary, and while you used to not notice it, now you're very aware of it. That's powerful. So don't skip this. It feels woo, but it's not. This is straight up science. The power of breathing is incredible. There is a hair in my shirt and it's driving me crazy. Learning to trust yourself, learning to trust your gut, learning to trust your intuition as a mom who survived abuse is so hard. But it is so key because our goal here, yes, our goal is to find healing, and yes, our goal is to find freedom, but our big goal is to connect with our kids and have a healthy relationship with our kids. So then that way they do not repeat the same cycle we went through, because we are cycle breakers. We are the ones who are going to actively change, so we get to say, this ends with me. Learning to trust your gut, doing some breathing and stepping on the floor, it feels very dramatic. But this is so important. We cannot connect with our kids when we are constantly wondering what's right and wrong. We can't connect with our kids when we are consistently second guessing ourselves as leaders. It is important that we decide today is the day that we are going to do the thing we need to do to listen to our gut, to be able to pay attention to that, and to finally begin to break those cycles. If you want more information on this, if you are really digging this and you are so ready to just completely overhaul this and be the cycle breaker that your kids need, and finally learn how to trust yourself again, how to listen to yourself, and make sure that you don't pass these things on to your kids, then I highly recommend you go check out Cycle Breaker. This is oh my gosh, I'm so proud of this. This is a powerful, life-changing mini course that you can do within a day if you want. It will take you less than a day to sit and power through all of the modules. It was created by a busy mom for busy moms. The reason this course is so powerful is because, yes, it's going to walk you through some of the things that I talked about here, but it's going to cover other aspects of being a cycle breaker. Not just learning how to trust your gut, but learning how to take care of yourself so you don't lash out at your kids, learning how to manage your triggers, learning how to set powerful boundaries. This is a course that is a great foundation for you to build on as you begin to be the mom that your kids desperately need you to be the mom and the woman, the daughter, the sister, the wife, the friend that you desperately need to be. So if you are interested, you can check out the link in the show description or in the show notes, regardless whether you're watching or listening. This is really good. It is so powerful, and I know that it will absolutely change your life if you let it. So KARLEIGH.com/cyclebreaker. Like I said, the link is down below in the description or in the show notes. Make sure that you go and check that out. It is so powerful, and it will literally change not only your life, but your kids' lives and every generation after.